This is the way it feels to move through summer in Lululemon. Iconic Align softness without the front seam. For our smoothest look and feel ever, summer won't know what hit it. Stretch your limits in the non-stop flexibility of the new Lululemon Align No-Line Pant in select stores and at Lululemon.com.
It's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about the end of the DC 33 strike and the beginning of trash pickup for the first time in July. What two mass shootings tell us about violence in the city, and what the wait for a budget to fund SEPTA tells us about politics in the state. Plus, the rideshare service Waymo is driving over to Philly without a driver. It's Friday, July 11th. I'm Matt Katz, executive producer of CityCast Philly, keeping the seat warm today for Trinae Nuri, who's on a well-deserved vacation. And here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me for our Friday News Roundup is CityCast Philly producer Abby Fritz and Hey Philly newsletter editor Siani Colón. Good morning, guys.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Morning, guys.
Trinae really picked a week to be on vacation. So much news, starting with after 8 days, the city and District Council 33 came to a tentative agreement on Thursday. We did a whole episode yesterday about how this panned out, but long story short, the union workers represented by District Council 33 are getting a 3% raise every year for the next 3 years. That includes water department employees, street pavers, sanitation workers. And Abby, as you reported yesterday, this 3% annual raise is not really what they wanted.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really seem like DC 33 got anything they wanted. They were originally asking for a 5% raise. And like you mentioned, Matt, they got a 3-year contract with 3% raises each year, which was essentially what the city has been offering since the beginning. They did get an $1,500 bonus in year one of the tentative agreement. They also added a fifth step in the union pay scale. More senior members are going to get about a 2% raise on top of that 3% raise that everyone else is getting. And it's going to essentially give long-term employees greater earning potential in the long run. But DC 33 was asking for an increase in healthcare benefits. They did not get that. It's staying the same as before. And the union was also hoping for a residency rule to be changed. So they wanted DC 33 members to be able to move out of Philly after 10 years working for the city. This is also not in the new contract. So it doesn't seem like they got anything they wanted. This is going to apply retroactively back to July 1st, this tentative agreement. But workers who were on strike weren't clocking in, so I don't know how much that will affect them. And overall, this is going to cost the city $115 million over the course of the entire agreement.
You know, guys, so much happened during the course of this 8-day strike. From Wah Wah Welcome America, the July 4th concert, losing their 2 headliners in solidarity with striking workers, to trash fires at city dumping sites, to some tension on the picket lines. And of course, you know, the Parker piles, the nickname Mayor Parker could not have loved about the mounds of trash that were piled around the city. Garbage pickup will resume on Monday, but that's another few days with these piles around the city. I'm curious how your neighborhoods are looking right now. Is there still trash everywhere? Are things starting to get cleaned up?
It's still pretty rough. Our playground area, there has just been so much trash that has just absolutely surrounded it. And even just people just decided to set up their own temporary dump sites around the city. So there's just random piles across the neighborhood, and then loose trash that's been flying around, especially with our tornado warnings this week and flash floods. So not a great week weather-wise to have all this trash out there.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I don't think anyone got the memo on my block from the beginning that trash wasn't going to be getting picked up. It's been out since July 1st. Similarly, there's some big piles in my neighborhood of just trash that it's not a collection site. There's a spot at 20th and Snyder that's looking really awful. There's a big pile of trash on the corner. I hope the city picks it up when they resume trash pickups, but I don't think it's necessarily like a spot they usually pick up from. So I don't know. We'll see how the cleanup goes.
Yeah, the cleanup is going to begin, has already begun, really. I mean, the city says that dumpster sites where people have been piling their trash at will be staffed now with trash compactors and crews to clear up all the residual trash and debris. And they're going to then shut those down. But until trash pickup begins again on Monday, there are 6 what they call sanitation convenience centers open until 10 p.m. today, and then from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. this weekend. We'll put a link to those in the show notes. So that's where, if the fruit flies and the rats have gotten out of control in your space, that's where to go in the meantime. Siani, I know you were curious about what all of this tells us about just how much trash we produce every single day in the city and how much was generated over the course of this strike.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a while until Philly can beat Philadelphia allegations, unfortunately.
Right.
Lots of services were impacted by this strike, but of course, garbage is the main talking point because it's something it's hitting all of our senses, or we can see, touch, and feel, as the mayor's favorite phrase when it comes to city government. It's unclear right now how many tons of garbage were generated in total during this strike. It's still early, but in comparison, in 1986, during the last strike, it's estimated 45,000 tons of garbage was collected. So
wow. That was over a longer period of time, but still, that's like a mind-boggling number.
Exactly. So currently, the Philadelphia Inquirer estimates, based on the dumpsters that were present at the temporary dump sites around the city, based on their collection each day, roughly 1,056 dumpsters were collected, but there's still maybe 4,000 dumpsters worth of trash that's still on city streets. If you were to visualize that, imagine all these dumpsters stacked on top of each other and surpassing Billy Penn's hat on City Hall.
Oh my God, that is so gross to visualize. That is wild.
I can smell it more than I can see it.
And they're filled with all sorts of stuff, like Matt, you mentioned the rats and flies, and there were way more things aside from just regular household trash that were at these sites. I saw mattresses, doors, couches, and it definitely points to the larger issue of consumption and trash generation in the city. I think, just because the strike is over doesn't mean residents can't still employ practices to reduce trash. Composting, whether at home, using the community compost sites. They're continuing to grow the community compost network in the city, or local compost services if you can. Freezing food waste. That's what we do. We can't compost, so we just freeze our waste, and that definitely helps with the smell that we've been smelling this whole time. All that warm, rotting food. And there's a new site called Resource Philly that's helping people find where to donate, repair, recycle items that would otherwise go to the landfill. Because it's hard. There are only 6 sanitation centers in the city. Not everyone can access them or have a car to drive to them. And then our hazardous waste events are spread out throughout the year. So it is difficult sometimes for people to properly dispose of certain items the right way. But that doesn't mean you should do it the wrong way either, because there's been so much illegal dumping. And another notable thing is construction and demolition waste. Have you guys seen a lot of that at these sites?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah, I have. Drywall.
So that's an issue that organizations like Trash Academy have been raising, suggesting for sanitation centers to take small loads from small haulers for a fee. And that way the city is generating income from that. They can properly dispose of this waste, because a big talking point is that it's too expensive to go to these other sites to do it the right way. So they'll just toss them at any street corner instead. It's all over my neighborhood. There's a lot more for the city to do in terms of helping people access different ways to divert waste from landfills in the right way.
At a press conference this week, city officials really emphasized that they are going to be cracking down on people who are trying to illegally dump commercial waste at these temporary sites, especially as they wind down operations of them. So they will be charging people $5,000 per piece of trash for illegally dumping, and they're adding cameras to the sites right now. So that's obviously like a temporary fix at these temporary trash sites. Long term, how they're going to combat all of the illegal dumping that happens in the city, that's kind of to be seen. It's been an issue for a long time.
Okay, so that's the trash and the slow slog to cleaning up the city. When are the other services coming back online? Abby, you were looking into that.
Yeah, so we heard that health centers are open and operating at full capacity now, and libraries are going to be gradually reopening to normal hours. I'd say check, your local library social media to find out if they're open or not, or give them a call. You have until Tuesday, though, to return your books. So get on that if you need to catch up on some reading.
They gave you extra time. That's great.
Yeah, I need it. I have a couple right now, actually. All the pools that were drained during the work stoppage, they're going to be refilled by Monday, and rec centers will resume normal hours. And then also street crews are going to be back filling potholes by Monday. And then also emergency 911 dispatchers and water department workers, they're going to be back largely because of court orders that the city had imposed while the strike was going on.
Beyond the impact on city services, the most interesting part of this whole thing to me is how this has impacted Mayor Parker politically. I mean, she came into the 8-day strike with a 63% approval rating, which is pretty great. And then during the course of the strike, though, I didn't meet anyone who was like, yeah, the mayor is doing the right thing here. I heard no one say they should not give these sanitation workers who are making less than $50,000 on average raises. And it was all over social media, pay them their money, and blaming Parker for this. And then with the Parker Piles nickname and neighborhoods looking like shit. I mean, I thought, yeah, this is a one-term mayor. That's what my brain was telling me during the course of the strike. And yet, all you have to do is look at the body language of the DC 33 union president and then the mayor on Thursday, and it's clear. She won here. She won big. The union was dejected. She got almost everything she had originally demanded. And so she may have been weakened when it comes to public opinion, at least for now, given the way the city looks. But she's definitely looking strong as other unions in the city consider striking, right? I mean, there are other potential strikes looming.
Yeah, it's kind of a hot strike summer. One of the big ones coming up, the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers, they authorized a strike back in June with 94% of votes in favor. And the situation there, their 1-year extension of their contract is set to expire on the last day of August. And remember, school teachers, they all go back August 18th, while students go back August 25th. So that's going to run into when the school year is supposed to start. And some of their contract demands include higher salaries, restoration of libraries, because a lot of these schools do not have libraries accessible for their students, addressing understaffing and overcrowding, and improving health and safety in the schools. But this is also happening at a time where the school district of Philadelphia is considering what schools to potentially close. So it's an interesting time when it comes to education in Philadelphia, what's going to happen there. Meanwhile, the Penn Museum workers, they held an action on Wednesday as their contract negotiations continue for higher wages. The union says they're making an average salary of $44,000 to $45,000 a year. And remember World Cafe Live and the mess that's happening over there? Recently, the workers are trying to unionize under the Hospitality Workers Union United here. So a lot of things going on, a lot of things to keep an eye on for sure, and seeing whether these strikes will actually come to fruition. Are other unions going to potentially go on strike? Are other services going to unionize? It's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure.
All right, we've got more news after the break.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on Carvana. Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
I just MailChimped my marketing.
You MailChimped your what?
I MailChimped my marketing with AI to create an effective marketing campaign in minutes.
No, MailChimp and Way.
Yes, MailChimp and Way. Now I can hyper-personalize my campaigns across email and SMS.
You can do all that with MailChimp?
What did I just MailChimp and say?
MailChimp your marketing with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-ons. Visit MailChimp.com.
Some tough news in our city beyond the strike. The beginning of July has been a violent one in Philly, Siani.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate way to start the month, especially with the city seeming to have been on a downturn when it came to gun violence. The trend was a little bit more downward than what we've seen in most recent years. But according to the Trace, July is definitely at a violent start, whereby July 8th, when an article was published, that 57 people were shot in this month so far, with July 7th as the most violent day with 23 gunshot victims.
I mean, summer's always more violent than the rest of the year, but I was hopeful that things would be different this year because we were, like you said, Siani, at historic lows. The homicide rate was lower than it's been in decades so far this year, but not so much in July.
And especially during the 4th of July weekend where, everyone is just trying to have a good time, be out with friends and family and party, reminds me of back in Memorial Day when we saw that shooting at Lemon Hill and Fairmount Park. Yeah. Now here we go again, another holiday weekend with this violence. And unfortunately having 2 mass shootings in a matter of days. So the first one was reported on the 4th of July holiday in South Philly at the 7 Elements Lounge. 8 people were reported to be hurt. Fortunately, no one was killed. And police say the violence began with an argument that escalated into a fight with knives, which then escalated further with a shootout. And this all happened nearly at 4 a.m. Then on Monday at 1 o'clock in the morning, 13 people were shot in total and 3 fatally on the 1500 block of South Edding Street in Grays Ferry. Both
of these were people gathered, hanging out late, and it seems like conflict, an argument maybe, just escalated to tragedy.
Every loss is heartbreaking, but one of the heartbreaking stories out of this particular shooting is of 24-year-old Azir Harris, who was a gunshot survivor. He was paralyzed after surviving a drive-by shooting back in 2018, and since then had been very active in his community, promoting anti-gun violence. So he was present during Monday's shooting. He and his girlfriend got caught in a crossfire and tried to hide between the cars, but unfortunately his wheelchair couldn't fit all the way. So he was in the line of fire, and his girlfriend, Siani Wiley, was also injured trying to shield him and their young son. And it was said that Azir's wheelchair was still on the street the next day.
That is unspeakable. Horrible.
And it goes to show how everyone is impacted by gun violence in some way in this city. Helen Ubiñas from the Philadelphia Inquirer, she had been following his story and had also revealed that his girlfriend, Siani, is related to Victoria Wiley, who is an anti-gun violence advocate who formed a support group following the killing of her brother. And this family had lost another cousin in Monday's shooting. So it's just tragedy upon tragedy that really demonstrates how prevalent gun violence is in the city.
And it's a reminder that we have other problems. We complain about the trash. We have people not making living wages who are working for the city. but it is gun violence. It is the fact that young people continue to get shot down and killed in the city on a near daily basis that is the most difficult part about being a Philadelphian.
Mm-hmm. And police are still searching for the suspects. There was ring cam footage of the shooting. If you do look at it, I definitely advise you to just emotionally prepare yourself because it is graphic. You just see them shooting indiscriminately toward the crowd from the front porches and, seeing pictures the next day of just the blood in front of these people's homes. It's just very unfortunate.
And it's young people who are engaging in this and who are also victimized by this.
There's definitely a lot more that the city needs to do in terms of reaching people before it escalates to this level of violence. And how do we help people regulate their emotions better? Looking to Saturday's shooting at the lounge, how does an argument escalate to knives and then guns?
Yeah. Right.
What more can be done to de-escalate before it reaches that point?
Amen. All right, we'll be right back after this break.
This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao, a new kind of flavored sparkling water. The kind made with real fruit juice, a pinch of Sicilian salt, and the sparkle of the Italian sun. With no added sugar and just 10 or less calories per can, enjoy. With love, from Italy. By San Pellegrino Ciao now.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Guys, I wish I had something new to report on SEPTA funding, but as of this recording, the state Senate, controlled by Republicans, and the state House and governor's office, controlled by Democrats, have not come to an agreement on how to fund SEPTA and really save SEPTA. And that means the transit agency may have to start cutting service by as much as 45% in the coming weeks and months because, as we've spoken about a million times, they're in the hole by more than $200 million. So in the meantime, we wait. We hope they work something out. And if you need a new way of getting around town because the buses don't come on time and things are getting truly dystopian when it comes to transportation in the city of brotherly love, Abby, there's some new transportation tech coming to Philly.
Yeah, this summer, Waymo, which is a self-driving car technology company, which is actually owned by Google's parent company, is going to be piloting in Philadelphia. So they launched 5 years ago. They're also going to be piloting in NYC and Northern Jersey the same time they're going to be in Philly. And they are going to be driving themselves. It's what it sounds like. These cars don't need a driver, and it functions like a rideshare service just without someone driving for you. But you can't order these. They are basically coming to Philly to learn and figure out if it's a good fit. It's a part of this company's Waymo road trip series that the company's been doing to teach the vehicles how to work in different environments. So there will be a human behind the wheel while the Waymos are here. They'll be driving themselves, but there'll be people there to intervene if things go horribly wrong for now. And also, rides are not going to be offered to the public. This is purely a learning experience for them. But they're going to be around, and you're going to see them. They say that they'll be driving around all hours in the city, and they'll be doing extra training in Center City and on the highways specifically. So look out for that Waymo logo. You'll see it around.
Would you guys get in one of these cars if and when it launches officially without a human being in the front seat?
I was initially anti-Waymo but I have some friends that use them regularly in San Francisco, and they've made some arguments to me that it has benefited them if they're trying to get home really late at night and don't want to have to worry about like any sort of interactions with riders, and they haven't had any issues with the tech.
Okay.
But I'm not totally convinced. And I mean, also, it's not the first self-driving vehicle in the city. Last year, a self-driving shuttle was launched in the Navy Yard. So it's not like unprecedented in Philly, but if Waymo did come to Philly, it would definitely be a lot more common than we see it now.
Siani, I feel like you're not going to get on one of these things.
I'm a certified hater, so Abby, I'll be the negative perspective for you. I definitely see the aspect of, you know, when it comes to getting a ride late at night. I know for me, that's an issue when trying to take Lyft home from places, and it feels like it's a 50-50 chance where I'm going to have a uncomfortable experience. I've definitely had instances of getting harassed during a ride, but I still feel like there's another safety element to be concerned about when there isn't another person in a vehicle. So I'd rather walk across the city on foot than get in one of those things, frankly.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that this launches, you know, like Matt said, like during a time where SEPTA funding is still in limbo, and not long after Uber had announced its route share service, which is just basically reinventing the bus.
What is that? That's where they like follow the same route and pick you up along the way? The Uber route? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's just like picking up along, so like peak commuter times and like busy corridors, they're like picking up groups of people. So the bus.
The bus.
You're taking the bus. So all I say, like, with these cars coming to Philly, let's just hope that they don't keep people up at night honking at each other trying to park,
God, right.
which has happened in other cities where you have people in apartment buildings next to these Waymo lots, and the alarms are just going off because no one is moving and there's no actual human to help the situation, and it's 2 a.m.
How about you, Matt? Are you getting in one?
I will echo what Siani said, and I just wish the bus came every 5 minutes consistently, 24 hours a day. That would be far better than getting into one of these things.
Definitely. Man, I thought you'd do it for the bit, but it's okay.
If I think about it, I will definitely do it once. For sure.
To say
How do
you
you
did
not, right? To say you did it. Also, this might be our future. Who knows? Where this is how we like literally get around self-driving vehicles.
Maybe a future episode, CityCast Philly gets around on Waymo.
Speaking of getting around town, what are you guys up to this weekend?
I'm going to go to a Philadelphia event on Sunday called Redfish Bluefish over at Pentridge Station. They're having a oyster shucking raw bar where they'll teach you how to shuck, and a DJ and other food, and it's a sliding scale price from $15 to $25. Seems like it'll be a fun time to get outside. I love oysters.
I love the name Philadelphia. That's fun.
Yeah, it's a cool organization that does a lot of fish related events around the city and education. Definitely check them out if you haven't.
What about you, Siani?
You know, speaking of food, I made a summer bingo card of things I want to do, and one of the things
Did you really?
Yes.
I've seen
That's
it.
amazing.
I've seen it. It's really pretty.
Oh my God.
I have to motivate myself. What the prize will be at the end, I don't know. But one of the things that I have is to take a cooking or baking class. So this weekend, I'll be learning how to make pretzels.
Wow.
So fun. All of M. Wilson's food on Instagram looks gorgeous. I've always wanted to try the like pastry with the big meatball in the middle. Like that one looks so good. I've never made it out to one of their pop-ups, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, so I'm really excited when I saw that M had dropped these pretzel making classes for the month of July. Some of them have already sold out, but a few classes are still available, so be sure to sign up fast. They are $75, but it's a 2-hour class to learn how to make soft pretzels. Will I make them on my own at home after this? Not sure, but I learned something new, and it's all about the fun we had.
Absolutely. And then you'll be able to bring some pretzels home for the family, I imagine?
we'll see what's going to be left afterwards.
Nice. Oh, good stuff. I have a less exciting weekend planned. I am planning to watch a new docuseries on CNN. It's on Sunday, and it's about the Live Aid concerts from 1985. Do you guys know about this moment in Philadelphia history?
I know about Live Aid, but I didn't know there was a Philly connection.
It literally was here. Like, it literally was at Wembley Stadium in England and simultaneously at the old JFK Stadium in South Philly. 2 concerts in each place, July 13th, 1985. In South Philly at JFK Stadium, 90,000 people came to the show, and there was just an absolutely epic lineup of artists, like the biggest musicians at that moment in time: Madonna, Led Zeppelin, Run DMC, Phil Collins. Phil Collins actually played both shows. He played at Wembley Stadium and then flew to Philly to perform and to play the drums for Led Zeppelin. I mean, crazy musical moment, right? And the concert was broadcast live via satellite everywhere around the world. Now, remember, this is 1985. This is not, this is long before we did such things. So it was simulcast on the radio, on BBC, on ABC, on MTV. Nothing like this had ever been done before. And then they had a phone number scrolling on the screen for people to donate money for famine relief in Ethiopia. According to the press release about this docuseries, this concert sparked a movement that is credited with raising billions of dollars for charities. So really interesting thing, really odd to Philadelphians at the time that we got this concert. They could not believe it. And the pictures from the show in Philly are so cool. People are just ecstatic that all of the greatest musicians of that moment in time are showing up in South Philly. It's a 4-part docuseries, starts Sunday, which is actually the 40th anniversary of Live Aid. And it's called Live Aid: When Rock and Roll Took on the World. So I'm going to check that out. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Stay cool, and hope the smell in Philadelphia gets gradually better and better as the weekend goes on.
I got my Febreze at the ready. Thanks,
Nice.
Matt.
Bye, guys. I'm looking forward to saying goodbye to all this trash.
Nice. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. I'm the executive producer, Matt Katz. Our producers are Abby Fritz and Laura Satsui. Our Hey Philly newsletter editors are Siani Colón and Natalia Aldana. And our host is Trinae Nuri, who will be back on mic next week. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend. Drop it in the group chat, rate the show, leave us a review, and please subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, written by Siani Colón. We'll be back Monday morning. We'll have more news, culture, everything you want to know about what's going on in the city. Have a great weekend, everybody. So long.